For people that come into Vincent's, they can expect to come into a warm restaurant where people are genuinely happy that you're here. I think it's a pretty cool place to hang out. We keep the lights pretty low. We think a lot about the music that we play here. We wanted a place that seemed really genuine and really authentic, and that's something that we go for. So it's a lot of personality, but low-key. End of the 19th century, they built this building. It was owned by a Portuguese family, had a grocery on the first floor. And their last name was Vincunis, I think it's how it's pronounced, and then early 20th century they anglicized it, called it Vincent's, and then it kept the name Vincent's through mid-20th century as it sort of went from grocery to like a lunch counter that also served beers, and then it was like a third shift bar for a lot of the industry around here. We initially thought it would be clever if during the pandemic we popped up as Vincent's Corner Grocery and we could kind of like, try to make a fun spin on what was kind of an unfortunate circumstance. So we kind of treated it like a pop-up, so we figured we would do it temporarily and then go back to doing Café du Paix. And then after about a year, we kind of made the decision to look forward instead of backwards, and decided to keep the name Vincent's and move on in that direction. So our dinner services are based on a menu that's totally ingredient driven. Most of the technique that goes into the food we prepare is French technique. Our chef worked in French bistros for a long time. We work with those locally grown ingredients. We treat them largely with a pantry that's like cultivated from uniquely American ingredients. So we see lots of like heirloom cornmeals from the Southwest and dried chilies and things that I grew up with in Texas. And that sort of goes together into a pretty unique modern American restaurant that, it's like French bistro food made with stuff that we grow here in New England, but accented with things that are unique to this country that we live in, I guess. We work with a handful of local farms. So Drumlin Farm, Verrill Farm, and Landsake Farm are the three that we work with the most. Basically every vegetable on our menu comes from those farms throughout the entire growing season, and then a lot of the stuff we get we preserve and use throughout the winter months, through pickling and fermenting and other means of preservation. One of my favorite dishes on the menu, I've got two, so I'll start with the gnocchi. The Parisian gnocchi with heirloom masa. It's a classic French dish that would incorporate pâte à choux dough and vegetables and some kind of butter sauce. The dumplings themselves are made with heirloom masa from Texas, which is very unique and cool. The sauce is made with like stewed down peppers, almost in the style of like a piperade, and then it's garnished with like crunchy dried chilies. I think that's kind of like French bistro goes to like the Southwest. It is a very representative dish at Vincent's. Another favorite of mine is the tempura octopus. I think it's so cool. And it's like in a preparation that's really easy to mess up, and it's one that our chef Philip does very well. And again, kind of like having an idea of a classic old world dish and then putting it with a bunch of vegetables that we get from farms around here, and then accenting it with preserved lemon and pickled peppers and like things that, suit an American palate that would brighten that dish up. Our cocktail menu features a lot of spirits and cordials that kind of come from North America in general. So we have a lot of agave drinks on our menu, so a lot of tequila, a lot of mezcals, a lot of lesser known cordials from Mexico, and we also feature a lot of whiskey drinks. But this time of year it's particularly fun because we make a whole lot of house-made ingredients. So we're getting stuff from the farm. So obviously like berries are really fun to work with, but we're also getting cool stuff like rhubarb and beets and other things that we can make bar ingredients with, where we're making like really unique drinks because we're using ingredients that are pretty unique to this place, but using spirits that we really love. I think Vincent's is unique in as much as we only kind of answer to ourselves and to our guests. So we are, an independent restaurant group, so we don't have a development company or corporate investors to answer to. So we've had good success with lots of things that you don't see around as often, whether it's like doing a brunch service that's like totally different than our regular dinner service, or whether it's our monthly chef's dinners, or whether it's like wine club. Nobody would write a business plan for this restaurant, and it's not a book report, it's more of a novel. It's like always unraveling based on who's working here and what we're into and what our guests seem to be into.